Okay, part 3. December 7th, which would be delivery. I had had an epidural the night before. I hadn't really slept. And this makes like 2 nights I hadn't slept. So that morning I had gotten a dose of Pitocin. My parents, not Pitocin, Cytotec. My parents had left from Kansas City to come be with me. But that's a 7-hour drive to Southeast Missouri. So they were on their way. I was being checked and they kept adding Cytotec. I could eat ice cubes and popsicles at this point, and so I was doing that whenever I could because I was really thirsty. He came in and he did he checked me and he said, well, you're at a 3. I'm going to go ahead and put another dose in. And then when you're at a 5, she's so small, we're going to go ahead and try to push at a 5. And I said, whatever, you're the boss. So I was at like a 3, 2 or a 3. And I just had that done at 9:30. At 10:30, the nurse came in to do whatever the nurse did, like take my temperature and, I don't know, check my blood pressure thingy-majigger and give me more antibiotics or whatever. And Joshua asked her to, no, when I had been checked before, yeah, I was at a 3. When she checked me at, I think it was 10:15, I was an 8. And they said, well, okay, let's go ahead and get you kind of started prepped. And I said, okay, I'm going to take a nap. I want everybody to be really quiet. And they went ahead and started prepping me kind of for delivery, like prepping the room, bringing in all the carts and stuff and the strangers. When they checked me again before I was about to deliver, I was at a 10. So within an hour and a half, I went from a 3 to a 10. And thank you, Mr. Epidural, because I probably could not have handled that without puking. So, and I'm not crying doing this video because this is now the 3rd time I've had to do this video today, because every time I do it, it's too long and YouTube won't upload it. Anyway, so I guess there is some power into retelling your story. So when it was time to push and they said, who do you want in the room? I said, everyone can stay but my father-in-law, because I thought that would make Thanksgiving awkward. Christmas would be awkward. And he had already skedaddled because that was not something he was interested in staying for. So on my left-hand side was Paula, my friend from work. And then on my right side was Joshua, and his mom was behind him. And then my nurse was there, and there were my legs, and then there was my doctor. That was my worldview. At 11:30, we put my legs up in the stirrups. And we breathed and we pushed just like we had practiced. And when you read the books and you go to the classes, they're going to tell you that you need to have a focal point, something that you can focus on, you can look at, that's your focus when you're pushing. And usually that's a sonogram, that's one of your baby's outfits, it's something with your baby. Well, when you don't get your baby at the end, what are you working for? I had said before, the day before, when I'm done being brave and strong, I want a cheeseburger and a Diet Coke. So one of my nurses had brought in a 2-liter of Diet Coke for my focal point because I didn't have one. When you're a kid, you have that place that's like yours, like that's your spot you can go to. Sometimes it's like your bedroom closet or a playhouse or like kind of like a hidey spot where it's just you. When I was a kid, it was my grandparents' laundry room, right off the kitchen of the laundry room, and it opened like folding doors, and then inside the laundry room was a broom closet, and when my cousin was being mean or picking on me because he was 3 years older than me, just old enough to drive me crazy, I would go in there and sit with my feet against the door and push so that he couldn't find me and get me. And I didn't have a focal point in my labor. So I closed my eyes, and in the beginning, I was swimming in the pool with my friends when I was 17. And laughing and feeling the sun on our faces. And being with those girls that I love and that are my sisters. But when it got hard, and when I mean hard, I mean not like physically hard. I had an epidural. It was uncomfortable. It was never traumatically painful. The hardest part was when just her head was left. And I knew that with this push, that was it. I didn't have my baby in me anymore. She was gone. And then the next time I saw her, she would be dead. And with those pushes, I went in that broom closet in my head. I closed my eyes, and that's where I was. And I could smell Tide and Bounce and Downy, because that's what you could smell in the broom closet, and Pledge. I could smell those things, and I could be there, and I could be safe, and I kept telling myself that I was warm and I was safe, and I was pushing my legs just like I did when I was trying to keep Aaron from getting me in the broom closet. And that's how I delivered my baby, in the broom closet. As soon as she came out, he said, "Oh, that's what it is." Her cord had been wrapped around her neck 3 times. She had kind of a little bit of a short cord, but her cord had been wrapped around her neck 3 times. I delivered her placenta, and it was also small. So if she had not been strangled at the perinatologist, we would have found out that she was small because her placenta was small. And they would have probably put me on some progesterone, which I had been on in the beginning. It's a hormone that helps during pregnancy, and maybe a baby aspirin. And she would have, her growth would have increased a little. But her size had nothing to do with her demise. They were not connected at all. It was just an accident. Like if I had a toddler that fell off the top of the slide. It's just an accident. She was in the safest place she could ever be, and she still had a fatal accident. We take some comfort knowing that our baby was never cold, never hungry. She never had to cry. Everything about her life was perfectly content.